Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the Harwich Mariners broadcast booth. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. Again, still troubleshooting some early season difficulties. We will have video up on this stream here in just a moment, but since the crash, all you missed, Kyle Ball reaching first base on a walk at the dish. Now it's Mitch Hardigan, and this 0-2 pitch from Billy Seidel will miss in the dirt. That was the first walk of the day so far for Seidel, who, again, that's kind of his MO. A lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks. And the one thing he does kind of struggle with is giving up the long ball. But aside from that, he's looked really good so far this afternoon.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, some things you just can't control over, and still seems focused. That one walk, really the only blemish we've seen.
This ball swung on and fouled away. Count will stay 1-2 here on Hardigan, who singled back in the first inning. It didn't come to fruition. The only two runs, as you mentioned, Colin, to come across to score, both of the unearned variety. Thanks to, let's just call it, a plethora of errors back in that inning. 1-2 count. Seidel looking for another putout. So far, just the one strikeout this afternoon. Great opportunity to get Hardigan here. Long look in. Here comes the pitch. That'll miss off the plate. Count goes to 2-2. I think we were talking about it before we got interrupted, but again, we'll keep you up to date on what's going on in the College World Series between Stanford and Vanderbilt. Right now, one run across for Stanford through the first inning. And they are ahead. Here it's Seidel with a 2-2 pitch. And that is just off the plate. That'll fill the count at 3-2.
Vanderbilt seemingly taking over as the favorite to win the College World Series after the early exit for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
I feel like we've heard that song and dance before with Vanderbilt having a good team in the College World Series. As the payoff is coming, runner is going, and it's fouled off down the first base line. So having to turn around and jog back to first here is Kyle Ball.
Yeah, it helps when you have two starting pitchers that are projected to go in the top 10 in the MLB draft. Initially, they were projected to potentially go 1-2, but again, MLB draft, you really never know until draft day rolls around.
Well, and you never even know, again, with other sports, you kind of know who the top 5 or 6 guys are going to be, but with baseball, anything is on the table. Here is Seidel's payoff pitch. Swung on, foul away, we'll do it again. A lot of long at-bats on both sides here.
Seidel now up to 46 pitches, so his pitch count isn't exactly where he'd prefer it to be at, but keep in mind those errors are part of the reason why his pitch count is as high as it is.
So another payoff coming. Here comes the 3-2. This swung on and poked out into left center. Chasing it in from his spot in center field and making the catch is Lucky for out number 2.
Yeah, I don't know if Beloso was trying to dive and make the catch or just dive to get out of the way there, but a good job there from Lucky to call him off. You know, the center fielder usually has the better range out there, and he tracked that one the whole way, tailing away from him. So a good job of communicating in the outfield by Nick Lucky.
And we've seen Lucky's range on display this season, remembering back to opening day against the Orleans Firebirds when he was out in right field. Made a couple of fantastic plays, so coming back and making what could have been a difficult outlook routine, as now Mason Greer stands in, checks his swing, goes through, and falls behind 0-1. Of course, the Harwich Mariners will be off tomorrow as the M's get their first break of the 2021 CCBL season, but we'll be right back here at White House Field on Friday as Harwich gets set to take on the Bourne Braves. The 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Evening the count at 1-1 is Mason Greer. Tried to park one over the fence out and right.
That Braves lineup looking really potent so far early in the season as they find themselves ahead 7-0 against Falmouth at Arnie Allen Diamond in the top of the 5th inning.
Seidel squares in the 1-1, swung on and missed. Yeah, it seems like the one thing that might slow down the Bourne Braves, and again, it's early. It could be just the fact that the players come back to earth. But Gov Fuller Field, if you'll remember from 2019, that is, or correction, not Gov Fuller Field.
Doran Park.
Doran Park could play a role. Have more on that here in just a moment after the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and actually We'll catch you up on it on the other side of the break. Strikeout number 2 on the afternoon for Billy Seidel gets the Mariners out of the top of the third. To the home half we go. You're watching CCBL Baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. Mariners fans earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through a division of continuing education and graduate studies at Curry College. In-person and high-flex classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, accounting, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Mariners will send the 8, 9, and 1 hitters up to the plate here. Hal Hughes, Jake Lazaro, and Nick Lucky do up this inning, and another inning of work coming up here for Hunter Dula, who delivers a first pitch ball on the inside part there. And just mentioning again, for Hunter Dula, this is his first day here in the CCBL. He does have a high pitch count, but he's allowed just the 1 hit, despite really going deep into accounts with every single guy he's faced.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. If you're missing bats, it's always a good thing, and hasn't walked anyone either. So it's not like he's been missing the zone at all. It's just the Mariners have spoiled a ton of pitches through the first 2 innings.
And they may have to do the same here. Hal Hughes with a 1-1 count, pitch on the way, and that'll miss in the dirt. Count goes to 2-1. That's the other thing, too. Sometimes you see when guys spoil pitches, the count will be 1-2. Sometimes it'll be 2-2. There have been a lot of 3-2 counts here. And certainly using up those waste pitches is Hunter Dula. 3-1 on the way. That'll miss inside, and the count goes to 3-1. So Hal Hughes with an ideal hitter's count, trying to get the Mariners started here in their half of the third. Of course, with Hunter Dula just getting into the CCBL today, our scouting report indicates that he bats lefty, and that's about it. Here he'll issue a walk to Hal Hughes, and the Mariners, for the second time in as many innings, have the leadoff man aboard.
Hughes still looking for his first hit of the season, but he does draw his second walk of the year. He drew one against Orleans, so take getting on base any way you can. I'm sure he'd like to get the hits going. We saw something similar with him struggling out of the gate in 2019. Still finished the year to hit 300, so we'll see if he's able to do the same thing this year, but I'm sure he wants to start getting some of those hits on his resume.
Absolutely. Lazaro takes the first pitch out of the zone here. Our own Tim Foley caught up with Hal before the game today, and he said one of the biggest adjustments or one of the biggest lessons that he learned in 2019 was that in this league, especially with the caliber of pitching you face every night, there's going to be offensive failure, but you just kind of have to take it in stride and focus on working on the things you can work on. And that really does seem to be something he took to heart coming into the 2021 season here.
One thing also to mention with Hughes, he went 0 for 3 with a walk against Orleans, but all 3 of his outs were stung to right field, and it took some great defensive plays made by Chase DeLauder to prevent him from getting any hits. I mean, one of them I'm sure would have been extra bases had he not laid out and made a spectacular diving catch.
Absolutely. It could have been an extra base there if he had dove and not gotten the leather on it, but instead it just finds its way into the mitt. Here comes the 2-0. That'll be in there for a called strike. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Here on the aforementioned Jake Lazaro, the St. John's Red Storm product from Oceanside, New York. Batted .222 during the 2021 collegiate season, and the 2-1 pitch is in there for a called strike at the knees to even the count at 2-2.
Now, Lazaro really had it going in 2020 before the pandemic struck. Through 14 games, he was hitting .327. So a really good contact hitter, trying to regain that magic.
Instead here, he'll swing and miss at a pitch right down the pipe. And that'll be strikeout number 3 on the day for Hunter Dula. Also gets the Mariners back to the top of the order as Nick Lucky will stride to the plate for the second time. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field.
And like you said earlier, Tyler, we'll see if this second time through the order is what the Mariners, what they need to really start getting the bats going, because they were able to work good at-bats against Dula, but they only got the result a couple of times with 2 base runners. Now the second time through, maybe some of these guys who got out are going to start putting some better swings on some of these pitches that he leaves over the plate.
Yeah, you mentioned, too, more mistakes as you get mentally fatigued. Instead, he'll get a ball taken to third. Might be a tough throw all the way across the diamond, but it's delivered in time as Mann gets it to Greer, and that will put the second out on the board here in the bottom of the third.
We've seen some great defense from Mariners' opponents so far this season, especially on the left side of the infield. I know Orleans had some great defensive plays early on from their third baseman and shortstop. Locklear and Sprinkle were the 2 guys on the left side there, and that time it was Luke Mann who had to range all the way to his right, backhand it, and make a perfect throw to get the leadoff hitter in this lineup, Nick Lucky.
And that is kind of to be expected. You do get good defense all across the Cape. But, yeah, as you mentioned, very specifically, there have been a number of plays where we're sitting there thinking maybe this turns into an infield single or finds a way to get down in the gap. And instead, somebody comes up and makes a great play to prevent that from happening here for the M's. Corey Acton, a strikeout victim, his first time up at the plate. A 1-0 count for Hunter Dula. Pitch on the way. Big swing and a miss. Acton evens the count at 1 apiece. Of course, your way too early check of the CCBL standings. YD currently leading the East at 2-0-1. Chatham and Orleans in the middle there at 1-1-1 and 1-1 respectively. A lot of ones in there. Brewster at 0-1-1, and Harwich as Acton swings through that to make it a 1-2 count very early on at 0-2. Really not a lot of separation here. The only team that has not lost or tied yet is the Bourne Braves at 2-0, and as you mentioned, Colin, currently they are on top 7-0, leading the way down in Falmouth. I believe the count should be 1-2 here on the scoreboard. As Acton digs in, pitch on the way, and he swings through it, his second strikeout of the day. That will end the third inning. Still a 2-0 lead here for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Mariners back in the field. When we come back, you're watching Harwich Baseball here on the Mariners YouTube network. Another inning of baseball action coming up here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Mariners fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Turning it over here to the one, the only Colin Casey for play-by-play of the next 3 innings. Colin, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler. Mariners look to keep the deficit at 2 against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who, if you're just joining us, played both their runs in the top of the second inning, unearned runs, a slew of Mariners errors leading to this deficit. As we head to the fourth inning, Luke Mann leading things off for Hyannis. First pitch he sees is over for a strike from Billy Seidel.
Yeah, Seidel has looked pretty good so far, again, giving up just the 2 runs, neither of them his fault. But at the same time, as it has been for a lot of guys, the run support just not there in the early part of the season.
So swing and a foul ball. Seidel ahead in the count 0-2. Billy Seidel, actually a Mass native from Wellesley, just outside of Boston. Attended St. Sebastian's School in nearby Needham, and was the second best right-handed pitcher in Massachusetts coming out of high school. So no surprise to see him play at a high-level ACC school such as Duke. There's certainly been baseball in the family, as his brother Tommy currently playing baseball close to home at Harvard. And that fastball comes up and in and nearly hits Mann.
Yeah, you get the feeling that, I mean, obviously a lot of guys, it's an honor to come down here and play in the CCBL, but I think a lot of these guys don't realize how big of an honor it is until they either get here or make it to college, whereas guys that are local, they grew up around this league, and this is something that a lot of them, like Seidel, may have been thinking about for a very long time.
1-2, trying to backdoor him, and he does. Nice looking off-speed pitch, fooled Mann, and he goes down looking to begin the fourth inning.
Yep, another K in the books here, number 3 on the afternoon for Billy Seidel. And a good-looking pitch there that time, had him completely fooled. No chance he was catching up there.
It's back-to-back strikeouts dating to last inning, right through the middle of the order. Now he'll be tasked with facing Dominic Johnson, who has the lone home run of the season for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Of course, we're just entering the third game of the season this afternoon. First pitch strike over the middle with the off-speed.
Well, and Colin, talking about games and, you know, how they won't be made up this season, one thing that we did kind of allude to earlier, the Bourne Braves had a situation where their field doesn't have proper drainage. They had 11 makeup games back in 2019, so this ball misses outside. So the question I have is, if that happens this season, what is the bare minimum criteria rainout-wise that you have to make it into the postseason?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm assuming they're basing the standings off of win percentage, because that's the only way you can really do it with teams not playing the same number of games by the end of the year. The count now 1-2. It's really uncharted territory for the Cape League, and for Bourne, that's certainly a big concern. We saw how bad it was last year with the drainage. Maybe they have a plan in place to play games at an alternative site. We'll have to see as we get into the month of July, and hopefully for Bourne, the weather stays dry. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Dominic Johnson chases the off-speed in the dirt. Back-to-back strikeouts to begin the fourth for Billy Seidel. 2 down here in the top of the inning.
Yeah, now as you mentioned, Colin, 3 in a row. Seidel really settling into a groove right now, not wasting any time getting ahead of these hitters. And he is looking very good. Now we'll face Jake Cunningham, who, to be fair, probably should have been recorded as an out back in that second inning, but started what ended up being a little mini Hyannis run.
First pitch to the right-handed batter is lined out towards second, over the head of Corey Acton into right field for a 2-out base hit. And that's kind of been the story of this game so far. Through 3 of the 4 innings, the Mariners have gotten the first 2 outs of the inning before giving up a base runner. And for the second time, Cunningham is able to reach base with 2 down.
Yeah, this is the exact same scenario, eerily similar to back in that second inning. The first 2 guys recorded as outs. Cunningham finds his way on, and Harwich trying to reverse their fortunes from that second inning and get out of this one with no damage done.
Caleb Pendleton looking to keep the line moving just like he did in the second. First pitch from Seidel. Misses up and away. Pendleton reached on a fielding error from Hal Hughes and ended up at second base after the throw in from Nick Lucky got away, and then he would come around to score on the 2-run single by Ryan Romano, who stands on deck. Long look in for Seidel, the 1-0. Breaking ball misses low.
Yeah, and for the first time in a couple of batters here, you see Billy Seidel falling behind in the count. Something he did a good job of avoiding here at the early part when he picked up a couple of strikeouts. You wonder if part of that could be just working out of the stretch with a runner on.
2-0 misses up and away. Unable to locate the fastball. We've seen him use all three pitches seemingly equal. He hasn't really favored one of the three pitches. Mixing in the fastball, that off-speed low has really been his punch-out pitch through the first 3 2/3 innings, and he's able to get one over to move the count to 3-1.
Yep, bat on the shoulder there for Pendleton, who will now be swinging away on a 3-1 count, and this is where Seidel has to be careful. He has only issued the one walk so far today, but don't want to give up a big hit, trying to force one in the zone.
Runner going, Pendleton swings and misses for strike two rather, I should say, so the runner does in fact get to second base.
Yeah, really no chance there for Winkle to dig that one out in time to make a throw, so good idea there not to try to rush anything and settle in, try to get the batter with a 3-2 count.
It's an RBI chance with Pendleton, but the count is full. Romano waiting on deck. Seidel from the stretch. Quick peek at the runner. Looks again over at Cunningham. And the 3-2 is in there for strike three, so fooled with the breaking ball once again. Pendleton strikes out, and Billy Seidel strikes out the side. The two-out single does not come around to bite him. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Hyannis 2, Harwich nothing. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field. Mariners trail Hyannis 2-0 after 3.5 innings. Hunter Dula's day is done for the Harbor Hawks. He goes 3 innings, allowing just 1 hit and 1 walk, no earned runs, and he struck out 4. Cooper McKeon on to replace him, the southpaw out of BYU, coming on pretty early. And Tyler, this is a result of the Mariners able to work deep counts against Dula, and we're able to chase him into the game despite not getting any runs on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, now you get a chance to face somebody different. You know, will they have better luck against McKeon? You never know, but an opportunity to find out here. As coming out of BYU here, McKeon, take a look at some of his 2021 numbers in 24 games, or in 24 appearances. Pitched about 25 innings, did record a save on the season, 35 strikeouts to only 19 walks. And allowed just 3 home runs throughout the course of the season. So he's on for the Harbor Hawks, trying to hold a 2-run lead. Mariners looking to get on the board here for the first time in a couple of days.
McKeon also had a lot of momentum going in 2020 before the season was stopped. In 9 appearances, he had a 2.45 ERA over 7 1/3 innings. Did walk 8 batters compared to 10 strikeouts, so he did get that ratio down in 2021 despite giving up more runs. We'll see what he can do here on the Cape. Great opportunity for him with his team up 2. Put himself in position to qualify for the win since Dula did not go the 5 innings required to be eligible.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times this season as well. Guys getting knocked out early on in the game and then not able to record the win, obviously. But right now, Harwich looking to jump out ahead or at least find a way to tie this one up. And Brock Wilkin, the man at the plate, to start things off here in the 4th.
Yeah, heart of the order due up for the Mariners. Wilkin hit a towering pop-up into shallow left that was tracked down by shortstop Kyle Ball. He watches a first pitch ball miss off the inside part of the plate, 91 miles an hour on the fastball from the lefty McKeon.
Yeah, we'll see if that continues here, but
1-0 fouled straight back by Wilkin.
About 89 that time. Trying to establish that fastball here early on. You wonder with him coming into the game so early if he'll be expected to go a little bit deeper into it. probably looking for some good quality innings as we're only a third of the way into this one. And already into the bullpen are the Harbor Hawks.
Wilkin awaits the 1-1. Hits one hard on the ground through the left side of the infield for a base hit. So Brock Wilkin continues where he left off the first 2 games of the season. He has now hit safely in the first 3 games of the 2021 Cape League season.
Yep, and the M's have the leadoff man aboard for a 3rd straight inning. But again, the ever enticing question, can they find a way to get those guys around and in? It'll be on Beloso to do so as he steps in, already 1 for 1 today.
He was able to single through the second baseman Romano and then reach second on a wild pitch. Lefty McKeon comes home and fires in a strike. 0-1. Sun's starting to set here at White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts. The whole field now covered in shade, except for a sliver out in right field over by the scoreboard. 1-1.
I think it is also worth noting a couple of guys, Harwich, again, we saw them down in the dugout today. They'll be activated, Zach Prajner and Carter Putz. You're talking about 2 guys with an OPS over 800 that'll be added into this lineup, and you got a couple other guys on the way as well. This Harwich lineup is still going to be very potent this season.
Fastball spiked in the dirt. Good stop by Pendleton. And that's an important thing to remember for some of the guys that are trying to break their way into the lineup now. You got reinforcements on the way, so every at-bat is going to be so important for these Mariners hitters currently in the lineup if they want to keep that spot with such talent on the way. Ground ball right side, fair ball inside the bag. Wilkin rounds second. He's into third. They will hold him there, and it's a no-out double to put 2 in scoring position for Cade Beloso.
That's the kind of spark we have not seen these last couple of days here for the M's. Again, very early in the season, but good to see. And this, Colin, is a must-cash opportunity for the Mariners. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out here in the inning, down by 2. You've got to find a way to get these 2 guys in, and they have the good spot in the lineup here to do it. Josh Hood, Pat Winkle, your next 2 due up here for the M's.
Josh Hood did have a hit in yesterday's game, but of course it was discontinued due to rain against Orleans. He's looking to ride that momentum into this at-bat against McKeon, who hasn't looked too sharp the first 2 batters he's faced. And he spikes another one in the dirt. A great job by Pendleton to keep it from going to the backstop.
Yep, absolutely. And again, Hood looking to get some baseball action anywhere he can, really. As you know, talking about he transfers in from Penn, lost his 2020 and 2021 seasons collegiately to the COVID-19 pandemic. So not only looking to bounce back, but also just looking to get back on the field.
Takes a big cut and misses. His future school, NC State, has looked really strong in the College World Series, making a deep run this year.
And again, fortunate for the Mariners that he made that, or trying to make that transfer for next season, that he's able to be here and make some contributions here in 2021.
The 1-1. Misses low in the dirt once again. Wilkin holding at third, Beloso at second.
And again, I mean, what makes the difference here? Obviously better hitting, the way they're seeing the ball, but seeing it off a different guy. They get Dula out of the game, now they face McKeon. And so far, so good for the M's.
The 2-1. Popped up, foul back and out of play. Strikeout would certainly be big. If McKeon can get it, then you wonder if they want to maybe bring the infield in and cut the runner down at the plate. But you are up multiple runs at this point, so could always just get the sure out.
Yeah, seemingly anything but a strikeout helps you here. Hard ground ball could score a run. Anything deep in the outfield can score a run. We've already seen the speed of Brock Wilkin on display. Nothing blazing, but he can certainly make it in on a tag.
Time is granted to Hood.
Yeah, wants another second to think this over. Again, a big at-bat here at this point in the game, and now we're going to have a conversation on the mound as looks like Gary Calhoun trotting out to have a word with his hurler. Calhoun, a new addition to this Harbor Hawks squad, not the manager back in 2019. As a matter of fact, not even the manager who was supposed to be coaching for them back in 2020.
There is some action in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Daniel Lloyd has gotten up and has started throwing, the right-hander out of South Carolina. So you wonder if he might see some action relatively soon, given the struggles for Cooper McKeon in this fourth inning.
Still just threw a couple of batters, but certainly something to keep an eye on, as these teams really do want to rack the wins up here early on with all those draft guys potentially departing.
2-2 to Hood. Lined into left field and caught by Hardigan. The runner tags. Wilkin will score with a slide, and the Mariners have their first run in over 12 innings. They cut the lead in half, 2-1.
That was on an absolute line, and unfortunately he may have gotten a little bit too much of it as it goes right into the glove of Hardigan, but Mariners able to cash in and get a run across. And still imperative to find a way to get that run in from second base, Colin, but they've had the lead here. Harbor Hawks only on top, 2-1.
Score that one a sacrifice fly, although that was no fly ball. That was a frozen rope out to left field. So Winkle steps in, flew out to center field in the second inning. Looking to bring home Beloso from second base. First pitch, lefty-lefty. Breaking ball bends right over the plate for strike one.
If he had hit that ball just a little less on a line, you get the feeling it probably drops. It certainly does score the one run, and the Mariners have 2 on again, but got to work with what you got.
Pat Winkle trying to make up for lost time, as he did miss 2020 due to Tommy John surgery. He fouls this ball back 0-2, and that's an important, ligament for a catcher, especially a guy like Winkle who can throw the ball down. It's important to have a strong arm behind the plate.
Yeah, and clearly he has come back from that surgery and is looking just as good as ever, but you always wonder when a guy goes into that operating room if he's going to come out the same. Especially when you're talking about a player, again, a pitcher or a catcher with that Tommy John surgery.
No balls, 2 strikes. Beloso takes his lead off second. The pitch. Breaking ball. Good job by Winkle to adjust and foul it back.
And I don't even know necessarily if McKeon meant to put that there. It looked like it may have slipped as he hung that. And you saw Winkle, his eyes lit up. You see a breaking ball that high in the zone, and you want to try to pull the trigger, but able to fight it off, and he'll live to fight another pitch.
Andrew Jenkins waiting in the on-deck circle. Another 0-2 from McKeon. Breaking ball swung on and missed for strike 3, and a huge out for the Harbor Hawks as Beloso remains at second base with 2 away in the bottom of the fourth.
Yep, and again, you don't want to squander an opportunity like this, although now it's going to be more difficult to find a way to get him in 2 away here in the inning.
Right-handed hitting Jenkins digs into the box. Coming off his freshman year at Georgia Tech.
And if you're Jenkins, again, you don't have to drive him in right now. You've got guys coming up after you. Just find a way to keep the inning going.
He watches ball 1 missed down and away. Jenkins hitting .302 at Georgia Tech as a freshman. 9 homers, 34 RBIs, but most notably was the last 10 games of the season where he hit .405, 5 home runs, and 11 runs batted in. Looking to carry that momentum into this Cape League season. He swings and misses for strike 1.
Yeah, every guy, you see a fastball coming, again, somewhere up in the zone, they're going to take that big rip. But so far, no one ain't really able to get a hold of one at this point in the season.
McKeon comes set. The 1-1. Breaking ball again, swung on and missed. When he's located it and not, left it too far low, that hook has been really impressive from Cooper McKeon.
Yeah, and that's dangerous, too, because he goes with a fastball up. He comes right back with a breaking ball in the dirt. Both times he gets Jenkins with a big swing, and now he's out ahead of him 1-2.
1-2. Line drive into right center field, tailing quickly, a dive! Oh, what a catch in center field by Caden Rose. He tracks that one down and robs Andrew Jenkins of what would have been, at the very least, an RBI in a tie ball game. What a catch. And the inning is over. After 4 innings from White House Field, the Mariners come within 1, 2-1 Hyannis leads. Stay tuned for the 5th. You're watching Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners YouTube network. Top of the 5th inning from White House Field. Colin Casey joined by Tyler Henry. Billy Seidel's day is done for the Harwich Mariners. He's currently on the hook despite a pretty good line through 4 innings pitched. Allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, none of them earned, walked 1 and struck out 5. He will be replaced by Trey Dombrowski out of Monmouth, the left-hander, looking to keep it a 1-run deficit.
And unfortunate, too, because it seemed like he was just settling into a rhythm. The last 4 outs that he recorded were all via the strikeout, but of course he had that pitch count a little bit higher than I'm sure he would have liked. And, again, early in the season, trying to see some of your other guys. Dombrowski from Monmouth takes over here.
First pitch to Ryan Romano is over for a strike. Dombrowski, it's a fastball in the upper 80s. Does touch 90 occasionally. Also a slider, cut fastball, and a changeup.
Yeah, one of those guys that throws a little bit of everything. He delivers a high fastball out of the zone here. And you notice also 6'5". He is another one of those guys that throws downhill. Always good to see a southpaw that can work with that.
Did not surrender a home run in any of his 9 starts in the 2021 season. So he knows how to keep the ball in the ballpark as he's ahead in the count 1-2 to Romano, who had the 2-run single in the 2nd inning with 2 down. 9-hitter making the difference for this Harbor Hawks lineup. Dombrowski from the windup, the 1-2. Tries to get him in chase with a breaking ball. Winkle able to keep it in front of him. 2-2.
Yeah, and the scout we got from Coach Berger, he said if Dombrowski comes in, you can expect him to stay in. He's kind of one of the few guys designated as this team's long reliever. So expect a good amount of innings out of him here. And obviously, if the Mariners take the lead, maybe see some of the more back end of the bullpen guys come in later.
Just misses on the inside corner with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Count full 3-2. Dombrowski went to Wall High School, which is 20 minutes south of Monmouth's campus, right down New Jersey Route 18. Payoff pitch. Lined right back past Dombrowski and into center field. A leadoff single for Ryan Romano. The Seminole is 2 for 2 out of that 9-hole.
Yeah, right now both teams pouncing on the new pitcher. Harwich able to get the first couple of guys on, and so far Hyannis doing the same. Romano on base, and Caden Rose, who is 0 for 2, due up next. See if Rose can have a bounce back at bat. And don't look now, Colin, but the Falmouth Commodores put up a 5 spot. They are now trailing Bourne just 9-5. That game in the top of the 7th.
A lot of offense so far early in the season from both those teams. Not surprised that it's a slugfest here as Rose rips one foul outside of third. Certainly done it in the field so far in this game, as those who have been watching the last couple of minutes, Caden Rose, an outstanding catch out in center field to rob Andrew Jenkins' what would have been at least an RBI single, if not more.
Well, you and I were joking around during the break. I mean, we're 2.5 games into the CCBL season. You could put together a SportsCenter top 10 highlight reel of just plays made against the M's this year. This ball
fouled straight back.
So we'll see if that continues. These are the kinds of things that kind of even themselves out, though, throughout the course of the season. Because I also don't believe, Orleans did have one, but aside from that, there have not been a lot of fielding errors for defenses against the Mariners so far this season.
Dombrowski hit 92 on that last fastball, so really finding something extra in this first outing with the team. The 0-2, and time is called.
And that'll throw off the rhythm of the pitcher. Dombrowski thought he was going to be able to bring the pitch home. Does not throw the baseball. Keeps it in his hand, and he'll have to settle up and deliver another 0-2 here.
Working from the stretch. Romano with a decent lead off of first. The 0-2. Breaking ball chopped foul towards the M's dugout.
Also want to point out, I mean, you can kind of see it out there, but conditions certainly cooling here at White House Field. You see a lot of sweatshirts in the dugout and the bullpen. Certainly for both coaching staffs, things are down to about 66 degrees, and nothing but cloud cover here in Harwich, Massachusetts.
At Cape weather, the days are warm, but it gets cool really quickly once the sun goes down, as the 0-2 is watched for strike 3. Caden Rose goes down looking for the second time in this one, in a big out number 1 for Dombrowski and the Mariners.
That was beautiful. More than likely the changeup there from Dombrowski, and that thing just completely fell off the table. Had Rose fooled, he goes down for the second time today.
Kyle Ball looking to at least move that runner into scoring position and set up an opportunity for the heart of the order to bring home an insurance run for the Harbor Hawks. Righty watches ball one miss high. He is 0 for 1, lined out to Hood over at third before walking in the third inning. Ball out of Stetson down in Florida. Alma mater of, is that breaking ball's in there? Alma mater of easily the best pitcher on the planet right now, Jacob deGrom.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone's going to argue with you there.
Spider tack or no spider tack. They checked him twice. He was clean both times in his most recent start. And his teammates certainly vouched for him on social media once that stuff started coming out. Runner going. The 1-1 sent towards right field. Heading back a couple steps is Lazaro. He makes the catch for route number 2. Romano swiftly moving back to first base.
Yeah, no chance to get him there or double him up, but certainly a calculated risk taken there, sending the runner, but he's able to get back in safely, no worries, and that'll bring up Mitch Hardigan. Yeah, Major League Baseball players not particularly happy about all of the new checks. Of course, Sergio Romo did some tactical undressing in front of the umpire the other day, and that's going to continue throughout the season as they really try to crack down on these foreign substances.
Quick throw over by Dombrowski. I really thought Max Scherzer was going to kill an umpire last night. I mean, he was livid every time he was out there being checked.
I mean, some of these guys, it really is. They just throw that type of pitch, and it's not going to change.
First pitch is just off the outside corner to Mitch Hardigan.
I don't think we saw that. I mean, obviously it doesn't happen as much at the college level anyway, but I don't think we saw a single player get checked in the 2019 season here on the Cape.
1-0 is hit up the middle softly. This will be a tough play at second. Hughes will throw to first, and the foot came off the bag for Wilkins, so he is safe. I think that will be ruled an infield single because Hardigan was really moving down the line. Ball wasn't hit all that hard. Just a tough play overall. But again, one of those plays that keeps the inning alive once again.
Yep, runners on first and second here for the cleanup man, Mason Greer, who is 0 for 2, but that just means he's due for a hit at this point. You got to be careful pitching to this guy. First baseman here for the Harbor Hawks looking to do some damage.
Greer out of McLennan Community College. You'll see some of these guys out of the junior college make a big impact on the Cape. 0-1 the count.
Yeah, and another one of those guys with that baseball pedigree, son of former Major League player Rusty Greer, who spent some time with the Texas Rangers.
Dombrowski comes set. 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Winkle doing a nice job keeping it in front of him.
Of course, interesting to see Mason Greer and kind of the path that he's taken. He was drafted by the Diamondbacks in the 37th round in 2019 and then played his 2019-2020 season at Auburn.
Really is interesting to see the unique paths that a lot of these players on the Cape take. I mean, some guys from big schools, some from the smallest ones that you can find. 2-1 the count.
Well, I'm sure you remember back in 2019, the Mariners got a very late edition after winning a, I believe it was either a D2, a D3, or a JUCO championship. I'm having a hard time recalling that, but he came in and did well in the Cape Cod Baseball League as well.
2-1. Ground ball to second. Acton kind of hopped up on him, but he makes the throw to first, and the inning is over. So despite a couple of singles for the Harbor Hawks, they go quietly in the top half of the fifth. We're halfway home in this one. Hyannis 2, Harwich 1. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Mariners YouTube network. Hyannis goes back to the bullpen here in the bottom of the 5th inning as they lead the Mariners 2-1 at White House Field. Daniel Lloyd takes over for Cooper McKee and Lloyd out of South Carolina, looking to keep it a one-run game and keep Hyannis in the lead and maybe pick up their first win in over at least 2 years, because they went 0-2 against the Mariners in 2019, and of course there was no 2020 season, so Hyannis trying to win on the road here in Harwich for the first time in quite some time.
Yep, and it's looking like it will be a bullpen game. You get the feeling all these guys are going to be on pretty short leashes, especially trying to hold on to a one-run lead. So we'll see how Lloyd performs, again, out of a pretty solid university, working for the Gamecocks back in 2021.
He'll be greeted by Hal Hughes, who is not recording an official at-bat in this one. He walked in the 3rd inning, but he's had a busy game over at shortstop for better or for worse. We've seen some great plays from him, and he also had an error in the 2nd inning that did lead to the 2 runs that Hyannis has scored. So Hughes digs in. Now of Rice, formerly of LSU, former teammate of Cade Beloso here in the Mariners, as well as former Mariner Daniel Cabrera. First pitch to Hughes is on the outside corner, strike 1.
Well, it's funny because you talk about, again, Hal Hughes, his father, Pete Hughes, one of the bigger coaches around the world of college baseball. And it's funny as well, we talked about Vanderbilt earlier. The guy that's taking over the broadcast position for Vanderbilt, Andrew Allegretta, was once sharing a hotel room with those two. And he said that Hal, at a very young age, woke him up early in the morning, hitting him repeatedly with a belt. So just trying to get him up and going.
0-2 now to Hughes. Of course, Hughes now at Rice, the alma mater of 2019 Mariners pitching coach Jeff Neiman. Broke a lot of records there. Really talented starting pitcher. Ended up going top 5 in the 2004 MLB draft. To Tampa Bay as there's a slow roller down the 3rd baseline, and it will roll, and it will stay fair. That's the first hit of the season for Hal Hughes, a leadoff swinging bunt, and the Mariners have the tying run at first with nobody out in the bottom of the 5th.
You know what? You take him any way you can get him, and I'm sure Hal Hughes will have no complaints standing over there on first base as Jake Lazaro steps to the plate. And that was a smart move there by Mann. He knew that he had no chance of getting there in time to throw the ball to first, but if he let it roll, a chance that it crosses over that chalk line, it did not, and the Mariners are in business for the 4th inning in a row, getting the leadoff man aboard here to the M's.
Luke Mann opting not to do his best Lenny Randle impersonation, getting down on all 4s and blowing it foul as the first pitch is fouled straight back by Lazaro. Of course, the MLB outlawed it after Randle did that way back in the day for the Seattle Mariners. Lazaro 0 for 1 with a swinging strikeout in the 3rd. And he hits this one on the ground also to 3rd. Mann will field it. He'll throw on to 1st, and it's scooped out. A great play by Greer to pick it, and Lazaro is retired. Hughes advances to 2nd with 1 down.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just really good defense there by Mann. Has to toe the line that time. I think his cleat even hit the bag as he readjusts that right now, and then he's able to step up and make a good throw, good dig out by Greer over at first. The corner infielders have been looking very good in this game for Hyannis, keeping some runs off the board for the Mariners.
Nick Lucky digs in. He's 0 for 2, flew out to center in the 1st, grounded out 2, Mann over at 3rd in the 3rd. Hughes takes his lead off 2nd. Lloyd working from the stretch, and he starts out with a fastball that misses just off the plate, dropped by the catcher Pendleton.
Yeah, Lucky trying to get going again here, and again, the top 3 in the order. Trying to get back on the right side of things here for the Mariners. Looking to bring in another run. You don't know how many more opportunities like this you might get. Runner in scoring position and 1 away.
Lucky 1 for 8 on the young season. And he's ahead in the count 2-0.
Yep, in a perfect spot to be in right now. I'm sure the green light flashing at Nick Lucky. We've seen him get some pretty good wood on it a couple of times, but like everybody else, sometimes he just finds a way to hit it right at somebody.
2-0 is hammered foul off to the left by Lucky.
Yeah, no safety netting over there on that side. The fans on the Hill off on the left side, going to have to be very aware going forward. Pretty good crowd on hand here tonight at White House Field. A little bit less yesterday with all the rain, but good to see fans packing the stands again here in Harwich.
The 2-1 misses down and away. Yeah, we had a really good crowd on the home opener against YD, as well as the regular season opener against Orleans. I mean, that's probably the biggest crowd I think I've ever seen here on the Cape.
Yeah, save for maybe the All-Star game.
The 3-1 swung on and missed, and no, they got a piece of it as home plate umpire Jason Klump quickly saying that that ball was tipped before hitting off Pendleton, so that keeps Hal Hughes over at second base.
Yeah, it looked like Lucky was committed to swinging there 3-1. He knew he was going to probably get something in the zone, but I think if he had held off, that may have been ball 4. And now he'll have to battle back here with a full count.
Battle of South Carolina Schools, the 3-2. Ground ball fouled off to the right.
Of course, we haven't seen it yet, but throughout the season, periodically, you will also get guys going up against their former teammates or current teammates around the world of the NCAA.
And you wonder who that favors, pitcher or batter, because, you know, the hitter will know a guy's repertoire, but pitchers will know guys' tendencies on certain counts. Runner going, 3-2 is ball 4 in the throw. No, they're going to say it was strike 3 as the late signal from Klump rings up Lucky. But in the end, it ended up being a productive second out as Hal Hughes was able to swipe third base.
Yeah, not a bad idea there. And again, a really decent throw, but just a little bit out ahead of Hal Hughes. It forced Mann to come off the bag, and he didn't have the wingspan, more or less, to reach back and tag him. So the tying run 90 feet away here for Corey Acton, who was 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today.
And I think Lucky was a little confused as he came back over. Wasn't sure if he was officially out, and I don't know if he said something towards Klump or whatever, but then he walks back to the dugout and takes off his helmet. So it'll be up to Acton, looking to get back in the right direction after a pair of swinging strikeouts. First pitch from Lloyd misses down and in.
Of course, it won't count against him with that game getting washed out, but yesterday did have an 0 for 1 with a strikeout. But again, good to put that out of the record books and try to get back on the right side of things now.
1-0 to Acton on the outside corner.
And to give him credit, he did reach base 3 times back in the season opener against Orleans. Could have a big at-bat here for the Mariners, looking to drive in that tying run.
He drew a couple of walks and drove in the only run on a fielder's choice. The 1-1 misses outside. Lloyd hitting 93 on that most recent fastball. Getting some good velocity. The 2-1 goes off the glove of Pendleton, but didn't get too far away from him, so Hughes will hold at third.
Yeah, not sure if that looped around the inside webbing of the glove or what happened, because it looked like it hit him square in the mitt and then somehow popped out and rolled behind him, but obviously not far enough that anybody would have thought about coming home.
Dangerous Brock Wilkin waiting in the on-deck circle if Acton can keep the inning going. Lloyd's 3-1. That's on the outside corner.
Yeah, it looked like Acton may have been sitting on that hoping for something outside of the zone. And instead, for back-to-back hitters now, we'll have to square up with a full count.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-1 Hyannis. In the bottom of the 5th, payoff pitch. Misses low for ball 4. And Acton is aboard with a walk, so that'll put him at the corners with 2 down. And in steps Brock Wilkin.
And this is what the Mariners want. Wilkin is the guy arguably swinging the hottest bat other than maybe Cabe Beloso. But these next 2 guys in the order are the ones that have been getting it done for you if you're the Mariners. And now they have an opportunity to put Harwich back level or potentially ahead, depending on what Wilkin can do. We know the kind of pop he has in the bat. We haven't seen it on full display yet.
He gets a breaking ball for strike 1 at the knees. Wilkin popped out to short in the first, and Singleton came around to score. The lone Mariners run in this game via the sac fly from Josh Hood. The 0-1 Back over the plate, he gets another breaking ball. So Lloyd attacking him with the off speed.
Yeah, one inside, one outside, and now Lloyd has options, and that's dangerous when you fall behind as a hitter like that, especially to a guy like Lloyd. You got to be very careful not to chase something out of the zone. He's got a couple pitches to waste here.
He comes set, the 0-2. On the outside corner for strike 3. So Brock Wilkin goes down on 3 pitches to end the 5th inning. No harm done. The Mariners unable to tie it. We head to the 6th. Hyannis 2, Harwich 1. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Sixth inning from White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts. The Mariners trail the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 2-1. As we head to here in the 6th inning, it's going to be Luke Mann leading things off for Hyannis.
Yep, an 0 for 2 so far for Mann. Struck out looking his last time up, looking to change his fortunes here. Again, similar to these first couple of games, other than the Orleans matchup, as the first pitch here will miss just outside. Not a ton of offense, not a ton of fireworks on that side of things. And I think, again, that's a testament to the Harwich pitching, keeping them very close in most of these games.
1-0 is on the outside corner. Mann flew out to left field. Actually just missed a home run in that 2nd inning. Took Beloso all the way to the warning track, and then he struck out looking to begin inning number 4. Dombrowski's 1-1. Drops one in for strike 2. Looked like the slider. 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors for Hyannis. 1 run on 4 hits, 3 errors for the Mariners. 1-2 just misses off the plate. Mariners again off tomorrow. They will be back in action against Bourne here at White House Field to wrap up the homestand. As a breaking ball over for strike 3, Dombrowski fools Mann, and he heads back to the dugout, 1 away to begin the 6th.
Yep, another looking strikeout there for Mann, just not aggressive enough this afternoon. And he becomes I believe that is the 2nd strikeout victim, as you mentioned, of Trey Dombrowski.
A really strong relief appearance so far from him, just giving up a couple of hits, but didn't really faze him. He was able to get out of things. And he starts off Dominic Johnson with a pitch that just misses.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good pitch there, maybe a bit low.
Johnson, the big cut there, comes up empty. Dominic Johnson out of Oklahoma State. Showing off the power again with the lone home run of the season for Hyannis. His younger brother, as that pitch is in there for a strike, it's a younger brother, Darian, but he's also the son of Andre Johnson. Played football at Ohio State. Is that the Andre Johnson?
There are a number of Andre Johnsons. I'm actually not 100% sure. I'm going to double check on that because I thought
Now, the DeAndre Johnson went to the U, actually.
I was going to say, yeah, I thought it was Miami, but I wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, but his dad did play football at Oklahoma State, I think it is, as there's a swing and a miss, strike three, back-to-back punch-outs for Dombrowski. 2 up, 2 down to be at the top of the 6th.
Absolutely, and Dombrowski settling into a groove here, but also doing it with a much lower pitch count than what Seidel did. So if he can keep this going, good things on the horizon here for the M's, that they can keep him in this form.
Here's Jake Cunningham in the situation that he's been used to so far in this game. 2 away, and he has reached base twice. He falls behind 0-1. Once via an error, came around to score in the 2nd. Singled and stole 2nd in the 4th before being stranded. But he's behind in the count 0-2 for the first time in this game.
Yep, and again, not messing around with that strike zone right now is Dombrowski.
Cunningham, a teammate of Aaron McKeithen at UNC Charlotte. The 0-2 misses down low.
Yeah, had a pitch to waste there. Still has a couple if he wants to.
Dombrowski working with the windup. Base is empty. And the 1-2 is corkscrewed on the ground right side. Dombrowski comes over, underhands it to first, and the inning is over. So Trey Dombrowski with a perfect top of the 6th inning. Mariners look to get the bats going in the bottom half. They trail 2-1 to Hyannis. You're watching Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners YouTube network. Home half of inning number 6 from White House Field. Colin Casey joined by Tyler Henry on the broadcast on a beautiful Wednesday night here in Harwich, Massachusetts. 4th pitcher of the game entering for Hyannis. It will be the left-hander Trey Robertson out of the University of Missouri. Robertson replaces Daniel Lloyd, who went a scoreless 5th inning, allowing 1 hit and 1 walk while striking out 2 batters.
Yeah, interesting move to go back to the bullpen here again, especially after you get an inning like that. Yes, he does allow a couple of guys to get on, but nobody comes across to score. But I guess Hyannis, again, really trying to protect this 1-run lead, especially as we enter the backstretch of this game. So it'll be interesting to see what he has on offer, and Harwich will be sending up the heart of the order. You mentioned Cade Beloso, Josh Hood, and Pat Winkle, trying to get that all-inclusive run across to score.
Robertson, the junior from Columbia, Missouri, was taken out of high school in the 38th round by the Kansas City Royals. Looking to keep things moving and pick up a hold here as his first pitch to Beloso misses up and in. Beloso 2 for 2, ripped a double down the right field line in his last appearance in the 4th inning. Here he'll pop one off to the left side. That'll get out of play. Robertson only appeared in 2 games in 2020 in the shortened campaign as the 1-1 breaking ball misses. Didn't exactly have the best 2021 though, an ERA of 12.09, 22 innings pitched. He gave up 30 earned runs.
Yeah, typically guys come here to the Cape looking to bolster already good stats, but every now and then you do get a guy that comes in looking to kind of have a bounce back after a rough 2021 season.
Good news is his second to last appearance against Tennessee went 3 scoreless innings. But here he will walk Cade Beloso to lead off the bottom of the 6th.
And again, you keep moving out the working parts. Sooner or later, Harwich hopefully going to find a guy that can, get the runs across. So we'll see how this plays out.
This is a guy who brought home the last run that Harwich scored. Josh Hood, sacrifice fly on a line drive out to the left fielder, Hardigan. Hood hoping this time he can find a gap. Robertson's first pitch, up and away.
Yeah, really struggling to locate right now. I thought maybe he was just pitching around Beloso. I mean, to be fair, if there's one guy in this lineup you want to walk right now, it's probably Cade Beloso. But now facing Josh Hood, who did put one on an absolute rope to left field his last time up. But I believe 5 pitches in a row now, Colin, outside of the strike zone.
I think you're right. There's a ground ball towards short. This could be 2. The flip to Romano at second. The return throw pulls Greer off the bag, so Hood is safe. Call that a fielder's choice. There will still be a runner at first with 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, but again, that's kind of what's been killing Harwich so far this season. Double plays and fielder's choices left, right, and center. They've been able to get guys on to their heart's content. It's just, again, getting them around has been the struggle here for the Mariners in 2021.
Pat Winkle gets an opportunity. 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Another lefty-lefty matchup for Winkle. Trey Robertson comes set. The lefty comes home. Ball in the dirt. Pendleton, who has, like Winkle, done a nice job behind the plate, keeps it in front of him.
Yeah, good defense by both catchers so far in this one, and that's continuing here. As again, the Mariners looking for a big inning.
Defense has been the difference in this one. Harwich making a couple errors that led to 2 runs. 1-0 is fouled straight back. And on the other side, a game-saving catch right now for Caden Rose in center field, keeping it a 2-1 ball game.
Yep, absolutely. That's got to be, I mean, again, probably the most important play of the game so far, other than possibly those Harwich errors back in the 2nd inning. Certainly in relation to the score.
Hood leads off first. Conservative lead, not looking to get picked off with a lefty on the mound as Winkle slices one foul out of play. Quick look right now around the league. Bourne has exploded for more runs. They now lead at 13-5, top of the 8th. And over in Chatham, a 1-0 lead over Brewster. That game at Veterans Field in the bottom of the 5th inning. Trey Robertson's 1-2. Misses up and away.
Yeah, been getting a little bit more confident putting those pitches into the strike zone. Again, doesn't seem to be as hesitant as he was those first couple of batters. So, looking for a big bounce back here. A strikeout would certainly go a long way towards building his confidence. On the other side of things, the Mariners still looking to push a couple more runs across.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Strike 3. Winkle fooled as he strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. 2 away in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, after the first 6 pitches, I think you and I were both wondering if this was the right decision. But Robertson, to his credit, has bounced back, and he's now just 1 out away from putting this inning to bed.
A big vote of confidence when your manager puts you in a high-leverage situation this early in the season. So here's Jenkins, who has flown out to center a couple of times, including that line drive that was snagged by Rose. He's behind 0-1. One other game that's going on currently, Wareham with a 4-0 lead hosting the YD Red Sox, who started the season really well, 2-0-1, looking to avoid their first loss of 2021. Wareham looking for their first win as that ball gets away, and Hood will advance to second base.
Yep, and once again, the Mariners have that tying run in scoring position, but 2 away in the inning.
Call it a wild pitch. Ball thrown over Pendleton's head. Another opportunity with runner on second for Jenkins with 2 down.
I know we mentioned earlier that Falmouth had scored a couple of big runs to maybe cut the lead a little bit. That work has since been undone as Bourne now on top 13-5. So a big-time victory on the way here for Bourne, pending a massive collapse. And in College World Series news, Stanford Cardinal still ahead 4-2 over Vanderbilt.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. Tying run on second base in the form of Josh Hood. Pitch to Jenkins. Misses up and away.
Yeah, again, I cannot stress enough how big these at-bats are for Harwich right now, trying to keep this inning alive. Again, they've had their opportunities. It's just been cashing in. That has been the issue here these first couple of games.
Robertson's 2-1. Big cut, and Jenkins comes up empty.
Tell you what, if these swings are anything to go off of, if they start squaring up on some of these balls, there are going to be some balls exiting White House Field this season.
Another right-hander warming in the pen for Hyannis, so they're seemingly kind of going 1 inning at a time out of the bullpen. The 2-2. Breaking ball fought off, foul. It handcuffed Jenkins, but he's able to stay alive.
If I recall correctly, Hyannis did something similar back in the 2019 season. They do kind of like to throw all of their guys the first couple of games just to see what they've got, and then kind of go from there. And a lot of teams do want to test everybody out, but maybe not to this extreme.
Robertson with the 2-2, runner going. Pitch misses high. The throw down, not in time. Great jump by Hood, and he is into third safely with a stolen base.
Not necessarily a bad throw there by Pendleton, but I'm not 100% sure that Mann saw him coming in time. He was still running towards the bag when that throw got there. I think if he had been there, they might have had a chance to get him. But as it stands, full count here, the Mariners tying run 90 feet away.
A lot of room up the middle for Jenkins. Payoff pitch. Ground ball, it is up the middle, but gloved by Robertson. Underhands to first, and Hyannis is able to survive once again. They get out of the inning through 6 from White House Field. Harbor Hawks 2, Mariners 1. You're watching Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners YouTube network. We head to the 7th inning from White House Field. 2-1. Hyannis leads over the Harwich Mariners as I kick it over to the most influential Wildcat since Barry Bonds, Tyler Henry.
Actually, not a Wildcat.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow! Now I'm embarrassed.
It's all good. Not a problem at all.
I'm sorry, Sun Devil. Sun Devil. I knew that. At first I thought you were saying Barry Bonds didn't go to ASU.
No. Barry Bonds did go to ASU.
And I realized my mistake after.
You're good. Barry Bonds,
oh, man.
certainly.
That's
certainly
an insult
one of the most,
for me calling you a Wildcat.
It's all
now that
good.
I think of it. Wow.
We just referred to it as that school down the road, down in Tempe. Of course, Barry Bonds, previously the holder of the freshman home run record at Arizona State, taken by future draft pick and former Hyannis Harbor Hawk in Spencer Torkelson. Now we're both doing it.
Yeah.
There is a Wildcat, though, on the field right now, warming up on the bump. Carson Seymour taking over here for the Harwich Mariners, one of the other returners, and being used in a bit of a different role here this season. He will be slotting into more of a week in, week out reliever for Harwich. But he had some pretty good numbers back in 2019, and he has continued to kind of bolster things throughout the course of his career at Kansas State as a Wildcat down there in Manhattan.
And then the velo has been good. His last pitch there that he just threw was 92, but he was getting up to 94 warming up. So velocity is up for Carson Seymour. It's always good to have some heat coming out of the pen, and maybe that difference in velocity is going to throw off the Harbor Hawks hitters. Not that Hyannis has gotten a whole lot going against Mariners pitching today, but it's good to see a little change of pace, and it might throw off these 8, 9, and 1 hitters who have really gotten the job done for Hyannis tonight.
Yeah, no, they really have. This has been a part of the order that typically does not give you trouble. It has tonight. Pendleton, Romano, and Rose due up here. And swinging at the first pitch is Pendleton. Pops this one high in the air. This one drifting out towards the line. Tracking it over and making the catch out in right field is Jake Lazaro. One away.
Yeah, it's good to see the Mariners on the right side of a play like that for a change out in the right. Good job by Lazaro to track that one the whole way. The ball was really tailing away from him towards the end, but didn't panic, got over there in time. I think he actually made the play in foul territory, so it wouldn't have exactly been any harm had he not made the catch, but a big out number one, and that'll certainly help your pitcher's confidence as he makes his first appearance of the Cape League season.
Absolutely. It also helps his pitch count right now as Seymour goes back to work. Next pitch on the way. That one will miss just low. Fastball coming in at 92 miles an hour. And one other thing we know about Carson Seymour, he is a very loose, very relaxed guy. You see, of course, they like to mic him up over there at Kansas State, and why not? He likes to have fun, and he brings that loose attitude here to the Cape Cod Baseball League as he gets a ground ball. This one goes through the gap. Seymour's going to have to cover the bag. Throw is there, and they say Seymour got the foot down. That is a great piece of defense by Corey Acton. You saw Brock Wilkin tracked over, tried to get his glove on it, could not, but Acton there to back the play up, and Seymour hustles over to the bag in time for out number 2.
The rare 4-1 play is Acton going all the way to his left. You saw Wilkins struggle to get to that ball, but Acton, not really fazed by that, makes the play. And how about Carson Seymour moving over to first base to just barely beat Romano, who's got a ton of speed going down the line.
Yeah, and you saw he went 0-60 in a hurry as soon as he realized he needed to get over and cover the bag. First pitch here to Caden Rose, misses outside. Rose has been struck out by the first 2 guys on the bump for the M's, taking a strikeout in the first inning to Billy Seidel, and then in the 5th inning to Trey Dombrowski. Seymour, I'm sure, would like to add to that, but he will have to wait as a ball chopped to third, picked up quickly by Hood, throw to first in time, and it's a very quick half of the 7th here, and nobody coming across, nobody getting on here for Hyannis. That will end the top of inning number 7. In the home half we go. Harwich still trailing by 1. You're watching Mariners baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey bringing it to you live. We've got a good one on tap. A one-run ball game. Hyannis leading it. Harwich coming up for their at-bats here in the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Hal Hughes, Jake Lazaro, and Nick Lucky due up. But first, a little bit of bookkeeping to take care of. The book does close on Trey Dombrowski of Harwich. He completes 2 innings, gives up no runs on 2 hits, doesn't walk anybody, and strikes out 3 on the other side. Book also closing on Daniel Lloyd and Trey Robertson. Lloyd completes his day with 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. And Trey Robertson pulled after a really solid inning. Again, he had a fielder's choice and a walk, but other than that, no problems at all for Robertson. But they will go with a new arm, and it will be Mark Adamiak coming into the game here for the Harbor Hawks. Colin, the 5th pitcher we've seen, certainly a bullpen game. And it's worked out so well for him, but again, you keep throwing different arms at these guys. Sooner or later, you feel like Harwich might find a guy that they like.
Yeah, you had to know that it was trending in this direction once Hunter Dula had his pitch count really high and ended up being pulled after 3 innings of work. But again, like you said, it's been effective so far. Couple of scary situations, McKeon giving up a couple of hits and Robertson getting into a little bit of trouble last inning, but all things considered, 1 inning at a time has been really effective for the Harbor Hawks, and very least it's probably saving some arms in the fact that they're not throwing as many pitches going multiple innings.
Yeah, a lot of these guys will be eligible to pitch here in a couple of days, and again, I think Hyannis may be the other team getting a day off tomorrow as well. We'll get confirmation on that, but for the time being, standing in, it's Hal Hughes, who picked up his first hit of the CCBL season on, I believe you put it best, a swinging bunt back in that 5th inning. That ball just died down the line. Here he'll take a fastball about 91 miles an hour on this one, down at the knees, ball 2. So Hughes getting ahead right now. Ready for the 2-0 pitch from Adamiak. Pitch on the way. That one swung on and put on a line, but foul back towards the batting cages behind the Harwich bullpen.
I believe the win would go to Trey Robertson at this point for Hyannis, as because Dula didn't go the full 5 innings to be eligible for a win, it goes to the most effective reliever, and technically Robertson so far.
Yep, and right now, this pitch skipped in the dirt. That'll make it a 3-1 count. Adamiak pitching for the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville. And one of the few guys you'll see, not just in this league, but anywhere, period, from my neck of the woods, from Shawnee, Kansas, up near the Kansas City metro area. Right now, working on calming himself down a little bit, getting a word from his catcher as Pendleton comes out to have a word with him on a 3-1 count. Harwich has gotten the leadoff man aboard in each of the last 5 innings. They have scored that guy just once. Brock Wilkin coming across to score the lone Mariners run today back in inning number 4.
And that's why, if they are able to figure out to get that clutch hit, I think it's really going to open the floodgates for this Mariners offense.
Absolutely. Confidence begets confidence. Here comes the 3-1 pitch from Adamiak. It's fouled away, and once again, Hal Hughes spoils a pitch he's gotten on twice today.
Mariners do have some guys that are used to hitting in the clutch on the way. A couple of Tennessee Volunteers in the form of Drew Gilbert and Jordan Beck, who had so many big hits during that College World Series run for the Vols.
Absolutely. And again, those are guys that the teams will be keeping a close eye on as we continue through the College World Series. 3-2 pitch misses in the dirt, and Hal Hughes, for the 2nd time today, will reach on a walk. So Hughes becomes the 3rd leadoff runner aboard to also represent the tying run for the Mariners, as now the leadoff man has reached in the last 6 consecutive innings. And you just get the feeling, Colin, sooner or later they're going to find a way to bring this guy in to score.
Yeah, Hal's done his job since that mishap in the 2nd inning. He's reached base to lead off the inning 3 times. He's put himself in good position. Now will the guys behind him be able to come up big and push home that tying run?
Well, twice today, that guy has been Jake Lazaro. He struck out in the 3rd inning, and he grounded out to the 3rd baseman back in the 5th. And this ball is going to be wild inside. That'll get back to the screen. Hughes will take second, turns and takes a look. And Hal Hughes...
Okay, time was granted. I thought that maybe Lazaro was saying that that ball hit him, but looked like it just did, in fact, miss him by a matter of centimeters.
which is fortunate. I mean, it wouldn't really change the situation for the
No.
Mariners. Obviously, it would actually benefit the Mariners as you'd have runners on first and second, but no chance for the double play here whatsoever, which has been kind of a problem for the M's this season in these types of situations. Now that tying run at second base. And for Lazaro, anything that gets him around would be considered a victory here. 1-0 pitch on the way. That one in there for a called strike. Not a bad idea there for Lazaro, watching a pitch from Adamiak. That is, of course, the advantage that Hyannis has, is you have everybody, doesn't matter which time through the order, you're facing a new guy. Plenty of these Harwich hitters don't even have an opportunity to face against whoever it is before the Hyannis goes to the bullpen for another pitching change. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on and poked out in the left field. That's going to have a chance to get down, and it will. They'll hold Hughes up at third, and that is going to be a big-time single here for Jake Lazaro, his first hit of the day. And the M's have runners at the corners, and the tying run just 90 feet away for Nick Lucky.
Great job there. Not trying to do too much. Just flared it out in the left field. Out there playing deep was Hardigan. He had to come in plenty of steps, and he had no chance at catching that ball on the fly. And I do like the move of holding Hal Hughes. There could have been a play at the plate, but with nobody out, there's no reason to risk it, especially with that being the tying run.
And they've also gotten in trouble with that twice already.
They've
gotten a guy just absolutely smoked at the plate. So no sense in getting aggressive right now, especially Colin, as you mentioned, with nobody out. And now you leave it up to your leadoff hitter to try to drive in the tying run. Also worth noting, Jake Lazaro now represents the go-ahead run standing on first, and you wonder if they might get testy and try to use his speed to swipe second, keep that double play off the table. First pitch misses inside, fastball clocking in at around 93 miles an hour, and it's a 1-0 count to Nick Lucky, who is 0 for 3 today.
What we do know is Lazaro looks like he's ready to go. He's got a big lead over at first base.
We've seen his speed on full display in the outfield. See if he takes off here. It's a ball fouled back to the screen, evens the count at 1-1.
With nobody out, Hyannis not trying to get the runner at the plate. Infield is at double play depth, so they'll trade a run for 2 outs if ground ball does take place.
Yeah, you wonder too. I mean, they don't seem intent on bringing the corners in. Sometimes teams will go with that vibe, try to get the double play if they can, and then bring the corner infielders in to try to cut the run home or cut the run off. But that is not the case here. The 1-1 pitch swung on and fouled away again, and Nick Lucky falls behind 1-2 to Mark Adamiak.
There's a big at-bat here for Lucky's confidence with the 0 for 3 right now, trying to get that momentum going as the leadoff hitter. And like we've said time and time again, Tyler, in these situations with no outs, even a fly ball will get the job done. It got the job done earlier with Josh Hood.
Absolutely. Nick Lucky got his first and only hit of the CCBL season so far back in the 9th inning against Orleans. So looking for a bounce back here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Adamiak sets, kicks, and fires. That'll miss inside. Good stop this time by Pendleton, and the count goes to 2-2. Of course, that's also an option. Anything back to the screen is going to score Hal Hughes.
Yeah, and Adamiak has struggled with control since the first at-bat with Hughes. Once he lost Hughes, he started to get real wild. We saw the wild pitch that allowed Hughes to get to second. So he's really got to rein in some control here with runners at the corners and nobody out.
Adamiak in a little bit of trouble right now. Still nobody out. Runners at the corners. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner goes. They will not throw down to second, and that's a wise decision. We've seen how many times that can go wrong. And Harwich now has the go-ahead run in scoring position, and the tying run just 90 feet away. Nobody out in the inning. Again, the Mariners had a similar situation back in the 4th inning. Only scratched 1 across. They need to get both of these runs in right now. Nick Lucky digs back in, batting from the left side. Adamiak working out of the stretch. Runners on second and third. Here comes the 2-2. And that'll miss up and out. And tossing his bat.
Yeah.
Actually, the scoreboard incorrect. It was a 3-2 count. So that's going to be a walk to load the bases for Corey Acton. This is also big for Acton.
Yeah, I was going to say for the same exact reason.
Yep.
I mean, he did have the walk in the 5th inning, but a couple of strikeouts. Has still been trying to really get the bat going. I think he's still looking for his first hit of the season as well.
And again, this would be massive for Acton as one of those returning guys. You feel like he might get reactivated and reacclimated a little bit faster. Bases loaded. First pitch to him. That'll miss up and out. Count starts off at 1-0 here on Corey Acton. And that's where it gets dangerous, too, for Mark Adamiak. He's got nowhere to put the Mariners' second baseman.
Austin Wallace is warming out in the pen, the left-hander.
You wonder how short the leash for Adamiak is. 1-0 pitch in the dirt. Count goes to 2-0 here on Corey Acton. And Acton definitely not in any hurry to swing the bat, as that will chase Gary Calhoun out to have a word with his pitcher. May just be a tactic to buy some time for the bullpen right now. As, well, what do we say, Colin? You keep bringing in new guys. Sooner or later, one of them is going to have a rougher outing. And that appears to be the case here for Mark Adamiak.
Looks like just a discussion at this point. Again, just to calm him down. It was a pretty brief one at that.
Yeah, if he was trying to buy time for the bullpen, it's not buying a lot. Of course, Adamiak, mentioned before, pitcher for the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville. Rated as a top 500 player in the nation according to Perfect Game. But right now, trying to focus on this game and trying not to undo all of the hard work done by the 4 pitchers that came before him in this one. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. And that will miss outside, Colin. 3-0 here the count. And Adamiak, again, he's got nowhere to put him. This next pitch has to be in the zone, and I think Corey Acton knows it.
Yeah, that bat shouldn't leave his shoulder in this situation. Bases loaded, no outs, and a guy struggling with control.
Acton chomping at the bit. The 3-0 outside, ball 4, and the tying run is walked in by Mark Adamiak. And Colin, let's just go ahead and run through the innings so far for Adamiak. In case you've forgotten, he walked Hal Hughes. He gives up the single to Jake Lazaro. He walks Nick Lucky. He walks Corey Acton. And that is more than likely going to do it for Mark Adamiak.
Yep.
He will have the baseball taken from him, and we will get you an update on the new pitcher into the game. After this, we'll take a quick break and come back. New pitcher coming into the game for the Harbor Hawks. You're watching Mariners baseball here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry, Colin Casey, and Austin Wallace will be coming into the game, I believe making his CCPL debut. And wow, what a time to do it. He gets put in with the bases loaded, a tie game, and the go-ahead run just 90 feet away. He has got to have all sorts of things running through his mind. But a pitcher from a big conference, he could be used to spots like this. We'll have to see how he takes the pressure.
Yeah, Texas Longhorn with a big opportunity here to be the hero. You wonder for Hyannis if they're going to try to get the force out at the plate, or if they want to just limit as much damage as they can on a ground ball and just try to turn a conventional double play. But regardless, huge situation for Harwich and a great chance for them to finally get that timely hitting they've been looking for over the first 2 games.
Yeah, most definitely. And again, you get the feeling this could light a fire under Harwich. They've struggled to score runs so far this season. Again, very small sample size, ultimately pretty meaningless. But man, you break open a big inning like that, it can get you rolling for an entire season, especially early on in the CCBL. And oh yeah, by the way, the guy coming to the plate is Brock Wilkin. This is the guy you want here if you're Harwich, but to that point, Wilkin is going to have to focus on keeping the line moving here and not trying to park one over the left field fence. So Brock Wilkin stands in so far this afternoon, or rather this evening. 1 for 3, a single, a run scored, and a strikeout. He will face Austin Wallace, the southpaw out of Texas. First pitch on the way, big swing and a miss. And just as I said it, Wilkin trying to put one over the turtle.
Just 71 miles an hour on the breaking ball from Wallace. Talk about a contrast from what the Mariners just saw from Adamiak. A lot of heat, a lot of hard stuff. That one just kind of a balloon that dropped down at the bottom of the plate.
And I think Wilkin may have been sitting on that first pitch fastball. He did not get it here. He puts a charge into one, well foul, but will fall behind 0-2. That pitch came in at about 70. So back-to-back off-speed pitches, not a lot of velocity, and now you get the feeling Austin Wallace may go back to the fastball.
And remember, it was 3 straight breaking balls to Wilkin that got him last time up. Do we see it again?
Takes a lot of gall to throw 3 straight breaking balls, and that is exactly what he'll do. 70 miles an hour, this one in the dirt. No chase there by Wilkin. Count goes to 1-2. So to reset the scene for you, Jake Lazaro on third.